Hello, stamping friends. How are you today? Welcome to this week's video here at Magnolia's Place. I'm Carol Parsons, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in South Carolina. Each Monday, I post a video on my YouTube channel. I'm relatively new at making videos, so I'm still making adjustments and learning. But each Monday, I'll post a video, either a tutorial or a mystery stamping segment. And I'll share a fun project with you. Some tips, ideas, color combos, product information, you name it. I'll alternate every other week. That's what I'm learning. So this week will be a fun fold tutorial. And next week will be a mystery stamping segment. I'm so glad you tuned in today. Our sale is still going on for the buy one, get one half off. It's been extremely successful. In fact, some of the products have temporarily sold out. Yeah, so some of my friends are sad because the goodies they wanted are not available, but they didn't jump on right away and order. So that is my first tip. Now, the good news is that a ship will be coming into our port in Los Angeles with more product in just a few weeks. The bad news is it's not going to be in time to get the products at the sale price. So here is my first tip for you. When Stampin' Up! Introduces a sale, jump on it quickly before the products sell out. With the manufacturing of so many products being done overseas, businesses, as usual, have changed quite a bit. So many others in our global economy have also become increasingly important for them not to stockpile inventory because it's no longer cost efficient for companies to do so. Sadly, I've noticed this with so many of our local stores. They just don't stock the inventory they used to. And they're so often out of what I want. So my second tip is the templates. And I have shown those to you before. Excuse me, but I did not grab my box. Here they are. I have piles of things ready, and this is the one thing I didn't have. This is my box. And here's just the one I grabbed off the top. Well, actually, I grabbed two. You can just make these out of retired paper, some scrap pieces that you've got left over, anything. Sometimes I put designer series paper on them, sometimes I don't. But this is the best tip because now in this box, whenever I want to make a fun fold, I can grab one of these. I put all the measurements on it. I'm ready to go. And it shows me what it looks like, not just the name of the fold, because I'm not going to remember. I often name them whatever it looks like to me. Other demos call them something else. People in other companies call them something entirely different. So the same fold can be called 2 or 3 different things. So it's really good to have a visual. Now, today's fun fold is, here it is, this. Now, I am calling this a vertical double card base. Okay, vertical because it's in this position rather than this one, and double card base because I think it looks like it's got 2 bases. So, that's what we're working on. Here's another example. Okay. And Mary Knob is who I learned how to make this fold from, and she did a card very similar to this. And when I saw it, I'm like, duh, Carol, I cannot believe I forgot about that. I have this retired stamp set, and I've used it for mail birthday cards. But my son is currently taking flying lessons. He's going to get his pilot's license. Not commercial, just, little Cessnas and personal planes. So I thought, well, hey, what better way to celebrate what he's doing? So I made this card for him, and I'm going to be popping it in the mail. He is so excited about flying. This is going to be right up his alley. And I even carried over the motif on the envelope. Oh, and I've got to show you the envelope for this one and the inside. Look what I did there. I just love how this turned out. This is second generation stamping. You stamp it off on a piece of scratch paper and then you stamp it here. And I put it so it barely overlapped. I just love that look. And I did the same thing on the envelope, stamped off. So, oh, there was something else. One of these I glued, is it this one? Oh, this one. Yeah, I glued this one. This is the very first one I made. And if you'll notice, I glued this whole little mini card base down to the back of this. And I glued this here. It's kind of neat because this floats when you move it. But then when I made this one, I attached this all the way in the back, not in the front. So I think I like this better. For one thing, it gives you more of a space to put something. And then here's another example. On this one, see, I put another plain image there. So I think I like that better. Plus it shows that whole double card base a little better than this way. So I'm going to show you that way when we're working today. And I want to show you what we're working with. We are working with this designer series paper. This is called the Beautiful Gallery Suite. But this paper is called, the paper is called Beautiful Gallery 2. All right, so whenever I get new designer series paper, I use the backing of, I save all these backings that we get, when we have 12 by 12 papers, this is the backing. Well, I save these, and then on the back of it that's plain, I put little snippets of every pattern that's in there, front and back. And then I punch out colors. So when I'm creating something, this really helps me know what colors can I use that are going to coordinate, which picture do I like, and if I want a background, what do I want? For example, this one is really nice with a kind of bluey, greeny background. Either one of these two go great with these. However, where's one there was one I was working with the other day. This one. This one actually is this. This can work with kind of a brown background, but I don't like it as well with this. It works nicely with that green. So see, that's a very helpful tip. Really useful. And I want you to know I'm on my third pack of this. I have one coming in the mail. I need another one. But just look at these papers. They are just beautiful. We've got things that look like paintings. Well, actually, they were because our Stampin' Up! Designers painted them first and then did photographs. But they look like paintings that are going to be found in a museum, I think. They're just gorgeous. Looks like Cezanne to me. Look at these, which looks like Cezanne to me too. Yep. And then we've got, that looks like Turner. I'm telling you, fine art. We're all cutting edge here. And look at this, pencil drawing. Now, if I did art, that would be more my style. I can paint, but I'm likely to draw in that manner. All right, now the other thing I wanted to show you was what you get with this set. And here's the stamp set. And my die cuts are, here they are. Now, the die cuts that came with this stamp set, there are tons. So rather than putting them on the other side of the case, I just use a whole different case and put all of them in there. I make a little photocopy. I showed you this last week so that I can see in a hurry what's there so that when I'm designing, I can have a quick look. So that's what's in there. And I do this for myself, but I also do it for my customers because this shows you what all's in there. This is all the stamp sets right here. And these are all the dies. Look at all these dies. Now, this is from Gallery Blooms. Okay, you get 2 frames. You get all these lovely floral and fern images. And then this is from the other bundle that's in this product suite. I love these dies. They're the partial dies, and you tell that some parts are cut out and some are not. So go like this. Oops, here. Oops, I picked up the wrong one. Can you see? You can see, I think, on camera. All right. So, and I'll show you, knocked off my little, there, sign. I'll show you in the catalog. So this is the suite, or these are examples from the suite, I should say. And then here are the products. So you have 2 bundles, this and this. And look how these images all coordinate with the stamp set. And of course, all of our designer series paper coordinates with our cardstock, which is amazing. And we've got an embossing folder, which is currently sold out. And I believe it's this bundle is currently sold out as well. And not this one, but there's something similar to this in another suite that is sold out. So I know, so I have some customers who are sad. But you know, I predicted that this was going to sell out. This and this one. I told them. I said, y'all, this is going to go. If you want it and don't want to have to wait, I'm just telling you. But, you know, life happens and you forget. So that's my tip. And today we're going to be using these embellishments, and they are called the pressed flower motifs. And we'll be using the designer series paper and this bundle right here. I'm not using anything out of there. Nope. Okay. All right. Now, got you going there. Let's get busy making this fun fold. And I don't know if I may use this. There are no sentiments in this particular die. Oh yeah, that's why I put it out here. This was in our celebration in January, February, March. And I really like some of these sentiments. So we'll use some of these today. All right. Now, got the envelope over there. Okay. And here's my directions. And I will post a copy of the directions on my blog, and there'll be a link to it in the description box below. All right, now the card base. In this particular one that we're doing here, I'm going to use Mossy Meadow. In this one, I use Lost Lagoon. Gosh, you can use so many things. So, oh, the combinations are endless. And this very first piece is cut at 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. And I scored it at 5.5 inches on the long side. So when you put this in your paper trimmer, long side means in this direction, and you're going to score right here. Okay. So there's our first card base. And then the designer series paper, the first place we'll use it is on the inside of this right here. And this is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that on now. And I still haven't found my Stampin' Seal, so I ordered another one. And you know, as soon as that comes, I'm going to find the one I can't find. Isn't that always how it goes? All right, so that's going to go right here. Isn't that pretty? Paul Cézanne. Yeah, the Impressionists. I had to do a big research paper on those in college, in art. All right, and then we're going to need a piece here. And this piece measures 4 inches wide by 2.5 inches, isn't it? Top flap, yep, 2.5 inches, okay? So, let's see. Yeah, I can go ahead and attach that. I was just double checking because every once in a while I get in a hurry. I don't want people to get bored and I'll put something in the wrong place. Oh, who are we kidding? Sometimes I get in a hurry when there's nobody around. Okay. Nice and centered. Okay. And then now the next thing we need is the small card base. At least that's what I'm calling it. So this measures 9.5 inches by 3 1/4, and it's scored at 4 3/4 inches. Okay. And let me put a note on here. Okay. That is going to go here. Now, you've got a little bit of leeway. You could put it right in the middle. Sometimes it depends on, I think, this flower. Because, well, actually, that's not where it goes. It goes right here. If you put it in the middle, you're covering up a lot of that flower, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to bring it down just a little. Maybe about right there. So some of that flower peeks out around the edges. Okay. I know, I hate to cover that up. All right, so last week I showed you a tip about using a sticky note when you only want to apply adhesive to a particular area. So this week I'm going to show you something different. This is going to go right here. And so if I dry fit it, all right, I'm going to, about right here, I'm going to put some on the bottom of this piece, okay? And then on the top of this. Actually, I can come down just a little on the sides. Can you see where I have it? Okay. So now when I go to put this on, centered, I've got adhesive here and right here in all the right places. As a matter of fact, it's a good idea to use your foam folder and really press so that those adhesive fibers are pushed into the cardstock. All right, and then this, no, what goes next? Oh, this is the part that, you know what? I did that wrong. Jeez, Carol. No worries. I hate that I used the bone folder though. But you know what? Hot air. Have you ever done this? Huff on it. Helps release the adhesive. Boy, there we go. Now, this is what's supposed to go there. Sheesh. Who gets nervous when they're just on camera? Nobody's seeing me. I mean, I'm behind here. You never see my face. Which is on purpose, I want you to know. Ladies of a certain age are a little, you know, about how they look. I'm not aging very gracefully. All right, so I've got it there. I just need to put some at the top, right here. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Boy, Carol. And you know what? There's a little bit of adhesive sticking out there, but that's okay because I'm going to use my glue eraser. Boy, if you don't have one of these, run and get one. Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Amazon. These things are lifesavers. Look at that. Took it all off. And when it gets icky because it's got a lot of adhesive stuck on it, you can just pull it off or cut it off with a pair of scissors and keep using it. Pretty amazing. All right, now this is going to go on here. But we're going to stamp on this first, so let's don't glue it yet. All right, now this piece goes. And the entire piece needs to be adhered. So I'm going to put adhesive all around the back. I'm not going to feel too bad about this because I watched a friend's video this week and she messed up. She couldn't remember how to show a particular fold and it was funny. Well, I mean, she might. Well, yeah, she was laughing at herself. She would find it funny. So I'm not the only one. There we go. Gosh, isn't that pretty? I love that paper. There we go. I knew something looked funny when so much of the flower was being hidden when I glued this part on top. The little piece, the flat piece, goes on top. And this measures 2.5 by 4 inches. Oops. Okay, you know what? I'm going to sit down. Then I can stop hitting that light. And I've got this to show me where the center is, so I shouldn't go out of camera. Let me see where the bottom is. The bottom of the camera is right here. Okay, I'm going to put a little pencil mark there. So I'll know if I go below that, you won't be able to see it. Okay, there we go. Now, let's review. I know that I told you the measurements for that. I told you the measurement for this piece. And this one I just told you was 2.5 by 4, the Mossy Meadow. And then the piece that will go on top of this, I chose Very Vanilla. But I think you probably could use white. But see, the background on this designer series paper is not white. So I thought Very Vanilla went better. You could also use Basic Beige. That would be pretty. But anyway, this layer is 2.25 by 3 3/4. Okay. And that's going to go here, but we're going to stamp on that in just a minute. And this one goes inside here, in this big one. And this measures 3 by 4.5. That's going to go right here. And we're going to stamp on that first before we glue it as well. Okay? Now, okay, let's get some stamping done. What do we want to put on here? Oh, I do know. Let's do that big flower. So I need a bigger block, and I'm gonna need my stamping pad. I tape some paper on this so that when it doesn't, because otherwise it ends up with ink all over it. But I love this. So we're going to stamp on that because we're using these clear stamps. And this is the one I want. I want this big floral image. And what color? Ooh, you know what? This is early espresso. There is some pecan pie in here too. I really liked it when I did pecan pie stamped off before. This is pecan pie full strength. You know what? Let's use early espresso. Okay. So we will place this right here. So this is something I need to figure out for filming. I've got this piece of white here because I thought my mat had too much glare. Plus, then you see these. But then this rocks. I got to work on that. I have to figure something out. All right. Stamp. Okay, I want there to be enough room to stamp a sentiment, but I want it not to come off too far. So let's try right here. I love it when an image is partially hanging off. It has this artistic feel to it. That looks very pretty. I like that, and I like that color. All right, so now we need a greeting. Let's see. How about, ooh, thanks for brightening up my day is nice. I think you're wonderful. Oh no, I know. I couldn't wait for a special occasion. I love that. All right, how about, I just have to figure out which one, since they're backwards. Here it is. I couldn't wait for a special occasion. And I don't want that in early espresso. Let's use Mossy Meadow because that's also in that designer series paper and on the cardstock that we're using. So I'm going to stamp that right here. See, when you've got a pad behind your stamping paper, when you're using these kinds of stamps, it's very helpful. It helps you get a more crisp, clear image. Without this, you don't have any cushion on this. Our red rubber stamps, our cling stamps, have a cushion built in, so they don't need it. All right. I like that. And I did. Ha! I just stamped that on the wrong. Look at that. It's supposed to go on there. All right. What do I want to do? I can stamp on the back and stamp again. That's not going to show through, is it? Let's do that. Then I won't have to cut another piece. We'll just stamp again. Okay. guess this is the day Carol is making a lot of mistakes. Okay, let me try this again. Right here. Pretty. And then Mossy Meadow for my sentiment. Okay. Now that will go right here. Can you see that? Am I in camera? Yep. Oh, good. All right, and then the one on the inside now. Let's do something different. All right, if it says I couldn't wait for a special occasion on the outside, what would you say on the inside? Oh, where would I be without a friend like you? Yeah, I like that. Okay. Oops, oh, fell off. Okay. All right, so this time, I want to do flowers in the background again. Let's do green for this. Okay. And then I want to do that stamping off again. I really like how that turned out on the other sample that I showed you. So, oh, I know exactly what to do. I can put the same flower on my envelope, which has some ink smudges. And that reminds me, I can tell you about this awesome little thing. This is called a sand eraser. I believe it's mono sand eraser. I got mine on Amazon, but I also saw them at Michael's because I bought some for one of my customers in a basket that I gave away at our new catalog launch. So you start out with the darker side and then the lighter side, which is a finer grit, and it will most often sand away little stray ink marks. And I didn't get them all this time, but it faded them quite a bit. So this is a great idea. Mono sand eraser. I've seen them at Michael's and Amazon. All right, so let's do this flower full strength in the corner of the envelope. And then we'll do it second generation, right? And I wanted to overlap those words in my sentiment just a little. Oh, I love that. I don't know why I get so excited about something like that. Little things amuse me. I just think that is so pretty. Looks very artistic. Hallmark, eat your heart out. All right, there we go. Now I just have to glue these two little pieces and we're done. Wait till you see what I've got. I'm going to film an extra video this week. I have this one coming up, and then on Monday, and then I have found some bookmark cards that I really, really like. They don't look like back in the day bookmark cards. These are 21st century, and they are awesome. I love the folds, and I have a great idea. I've got two great nieces that absolutely love to read. And I'm going to make a card with a corner fold bookmark in it that's just for those two little girls. And you are going to love it because it can be done with something else. It doesn't have to just be done with something, you know, cutesy. You could do it with something serious. Now look, I've got some more stray marks there. Ooh, but instead of using that sand eraser, you know what else covers up gray marks? Are our beautiful embellishments. And I love these. Oops. Ooh, that almost hit the dog. Sorry, sweet dog. Okay. So how about if I put one right there on top of that smudge? And I'll put a little one maybe right here. Now, do I want to put another one here to cover up the rest of that smudge, or over there? I think I'm going to put it there. Wait a minute, that's too close. I'll get it over just a tad. There. I like that. All right. Oh, did you see what I came up with? You know the backing off of the designer paper that we have? I cut those down to fit inside the envelope that our dies come in, because I don't use these for my dies. I take my dies out and store them in the stamp cases, right? So I just cut out this little channel right here. I tape this or glue it to this, and it stays in here like that. And I store all of them in my handy dandy little embellishment box. See? All of them are in here. Easy to find. Doesn't take up much space. I love it. And I came up with it all by myself. I didn't copy it off of someone. That doesn't happen a lot. All right, there you go. What do you think of today's card? I love it. All right, so remember we have that one. I did this one. I just glued this differently. It still looks nice. And we have this one. Thank you, Mary Knob, for the great idea there. And the sympathy card. Now, are they gonna all be able to, nope. Okay, you can't see all of them on camera, so how about now? Almost? Not quite. Okay. I'm standing up again so that I can see what you see. There. How's that? Thanks so much for coming today online and to visit with me. I wish we could hang out in person. Wouldn't that be fun? We could have a big old party and just stamp like crazy. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to do that for you. You can find links to my blog below. You can visit my online store. In the description box, I'll put a list of the products that I used. And remember that a written copy of the tutorial for this will be on my blog, linked in the description box below as well. So have a great week. I will see you in a couple days with the bookmark card that I was telling you about. And then next week, I will see you for another mystery stamping event. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.